Hi everyone, and welcome to this presentation on the basics of Android. Uh, this is Sean Williams for the individuals who are watching the archives via YouTube, the Technology Wizard channel. And if you're watching and you couldn't make it live, thank you very much for watching. This is going to be a presentation on Android, if I've not already said so. Definitely have said it to the individuals who are here, but anyway, the basics of Android, not the advanced, so sorry about that. Basically what we're going to cover is the device that I have, the description of the device that I have, and I'll start right there so I don't forget something. So the device I have, it is a Samsung Galaxy Edge 7. And this device was actually given to me by my sister-in-law. It was her old Android phone. And so this has, a front camera, a back camera on it, and it also has two volume buttons, power button. Sorry, volume buttons are on the left, power buttons on the right. Kind of important to know that. And it does have a headphone jack, which is pretty nice. And it has a speaker on the bottom right of it, and it has a I'd say it's an oval shaped Touch ID sensor, which is also acts as the home button. Close. So I'm going to hit the home button right now, and it's probably going to register my finger.
No SIM card, no network connection. 4:05 p.m. No match. Use fingerprint or swipe screen.
There we go.
Page 1 of 2. Default page.
It just
Device
unlocked.
Samsung Experience Home. Chrome. Press select to activate. Press select and hold to long press.
So two things might pop in your head. One, that's not the Android voice that I'm used to. You're right, it isn't. So I changed the Android voice within TalkBack settings. Two, would be how's the Touch ID sensor on this phone, or in other words, how did I set up the Touch ID, and was it smooth? Yes, it was smooth, surprisingly. I think it's because I've had experience setting up Touch ID on iPhones, and so it's not that much different from Android. In fact, let's go and let's just explore the screen first.
Apps. Double tap
Is everyone
to activate.
able to hear that?
Double
Okay.
tap and hold to long press.
Or do you need it turned up? Are you guys able to hear this? Okay.
Camera. Play Store. Google folder.
Sorry.
Can Alert to enhance voice assistant in camera. Rear camera preview. Turn on.
Okay, I'm trying to turn it up.
To enhance. Cancel. To enhance voice assistant in camera, voice control will be turned on.
Okay. Accessibility volume should be turned
up
up.
a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. Okay.
Volume controls hidden.
Hey,
There we
Sean,
go.
I could hear you fine. The only distraction is someone's dog is constantly barking. So maybe if we could, if I remind a suggestion when you were presenting, if we could maybe mute our audio, then that way we can hear you clearly, but then
Yeah, I
with
can
no
do that.
distractions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I will do that then. All right, so if you want to raise your hand, then that is Alt Y on a computer, Option Y on a Mac. Let me just pause the recording really quick. Okay, there we go. So I'm picking up the Android phone, and I'm flicking to the right. We're just going to review this screen.
Voice search button. Double tap to activate.
You can do voice search. It's kind of like dictation. If you guys will recall, if you guys have an iPhone, which I think most of us do, if you go on the main screen, there will be a search. I'm sorry, on the like in the settings, for example, there will be dictate button. I think that's kind of like their Apple's equivalent to voice search. But we can go to the right.
T.
Oops, that was going by character.
No recent searches.
Okay, flick to the right.
Voice editing. Navigate up button.
Okay, I don't know
Phone.
why I double tapped there.
Voice search. More options. Recents tab 1 of 2. Contacts tab 2 of 2.
Okay, I'm in the phone app
Double
for some reason.
tap
I
to
have no idea
activate.
why. I'm hitting the home button
Samsung
to get out of
Experience
there.
Home. Google folder.
Okay, flicking the right.
Phone. Google folder. Phone. Double Message Plus. Chrome. Double tap to activate. Double tap and hold to long press.
One thing about Android that some people might say, well, I don't have what you're showing me right now on an Android phone. There are different versions of Android, or there are different Android skins, I guess is the best way to put it, or Android OSs really. For example, not to get too technical here, but if you are just starting out with Android, and if I were going to go to Android, I would get what's called stock Android. In short, it is all of Google's apps and all of Google's software without companies adding their own software on. So that's what happens when, for example, you may have someone that says, I got, I'll use an example I found in an email list, an HTC Android phone, and it's not as accessible, or it's not very accessible. Well, that's because companies such as HTC, and now I don't know that their phones aren't accessible or are, but just as an example, they may have put some software on there that is inaccessible to us as blind and low vision individuals. So that's why my recommendation is, if you go with an Android phone, you can try Samsung, but if I were to personally go with an Android phone, I would go with Google. But this was given to me, so this is what I'm using. Again, it's a Samsung Galaxy Edge 7. So I'm going to flick to the right. A lot of these apps I don't use.
Apps.
And,
Double tap to activate. Double tap and hold to long press.
Okay, so this is where all the programs are stored. Think of Android like a PC. Kind of think of it like that. So this is where you double tap and you would flick to the right through all your apps. And that, I think, I don't, hold on, let me see.
Weather.
Okay, there we go.
Double tap and hold to long press.
And with Android, I noticed you kind of have to be precise. Like, your finger can't be angled. Android's a little picky about that. And I'm able to use Android, but sometimes with the tremor in my hand, it's a little bit tough.
Current location, Clio. Refresh button.
Go past that.
Double
was
tap
telling
to
me the current
activate.
location.
Search.
There's a
Double
search.
tap it. Google search. Double tap to activate.
Oops.
Google search. Voice search button. Email. Double camera. Play Store. Double tap to activate. Double tap and hold to long press.
So for those who don't know, the Play Store is like the equivalent to the App Store. And so the camera, it's not as accessible, near as accessible as the iPhone's camera. You can go there and you can take pictures, take videos, whatever. But as far as I'm aware, Android does not have any of the facial recognition. And if someone knows that they do, please correct me. That iPhone has. For example, with an iPhone, I make YouTube videos. I stitch them together. And it's more accessible, way more accessible.
Apps.
So we'll flick to the right. Sorry. I think
Weather. Refresh. Search. Voice search button. Email. Play Store.
Okay. Play
Double
Store.
tap to activate. Double tap and hold to long press.
There are some Android apps that we'll be familiar with, like Be My Eyes. Sorry, I kind of slurred. Be My Eyes is one. Or Be Specular is another one. Those are both assisting image assisting apps, or in Be My Eyes' case, you get a whole lot of companies to assist you. So a lot of different apps for Android that also appear on iOS. So we'll flick to the right.
Google folder.
Google folder.
Double phone.
And I think that's
Double
it.
tap to activate. Double tap and hold.
So let's go into the accessibility settings, and we'll hold down the home button, and the Google Assistant will come up. Now this phone's a little bit slow, but I'm just going to tell it to open settings. Open settings.
Google Assistant. Tap to dismiss Assistant. Tap to finish.
Okay.
Press select to activate. Enlist.
Okay, I think it's going to settings.
Space. Voice search button. Tap to speak. Google. All.
Okay, I don't know what. Okay, this is weird. The Google
Samsung
Assistant's a little
Experience
bit
Home.
weird,
Phone.
and there's not exactly a way to shut the speech up. There's not a way to turn the
Set
speech
up
off.
account. Set
oh,
up.
come on. Jeez.
Samsung Experience Home.
Open
Phone.
settings.
Press select to activate. Press select and hold to long press.
This is why Android is bugging me. Open settings
Google Assistant. Enlist.
Opening. Settings.
Settings.
and Google
Search
Assistant was
edit
very
box.
loud. Or very
Press
soft.
select to
Sorry.
edit text. Press select and hold to long press. Edit options available. Use swipe up then right to view.
Right. So Android does have different gestures. Swipe up then right. Swipe up then left. Different gestures that can be accomplished. There aren't really any multi-finger gestures. I've heard as of reading on Android that there's a rumor that there's going to be multi-tap entry, or multi-tap navigation, which is what we are used to if you have an iPhone, coming to TalkBack. But as you can see, I'm navigating around with TalkBack. So, if someone said, well, Android's not accessible. Yeah, it is. I'm using Android. I assist my 81-year-old grandmother with Android. So yeah, it's definitely accessible. We'll flick to the right,
Voice search button.
and there's that
Double
voice
tap.
search.
Samsung account profile button.
And
Double tap to activate.
if you get a Samsung phone, you will have to create a Samsung account, or it's a good idea to create a Samsung account. I don't really bother with it, and I don't really bother learning about it because, like I said, if I ever get an Android phone, it's going to be a Google Pixel. But we'll flick to the right.
Apps, default apps, app permissions, 8 of 16, enlist 16 items.
I think.
Advanced wallpapers and
Whoa.
themes, wallpapers,
So-
themes, icons, 5 of 16.
Okay, this is interesting. So
Double
what,
tap to activate.
Oh gosh. Okay. What happened was we somehow bounced all the way to not the beginning of settings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll up, and I'm going to hold down two fingers. I'm going to slide them toward me.
Notifications.
Somehow I got
Notifications.
some notifications.
Navigate up
Lovely.
button.
Go back.
Apps, default
Alright.
apps, app, device,
I'm just gonna
sounds and
my
vibration,
finger.
sound, connections, Wi-Fi,
Here we
data
go.
use,
Flip
Samsung
to the
account
left.
profile button out of list.
Okay. So
Double
I
tap
ju-
to activate.
Oh gosh. Okay. Sorry. Not quite used to the speech not being able to be shut up when I want it to. So at least not that I'm aware of. So I'm going to flick to the right.
Connections, Wi-Fi, data usage, airplane mode, location, 1 of 16, enlist 16 items.
So I do
Double
like,
tap to activate.
I do like that that Android does say, for example, what kind of connections there are within the connections screen. That's something that would be kind of cool to see iPhone have, and maybe there'd be a way to turn that off, because there's not really like a connection section, like a connections. I guess you could say like a window. Like you can go and you can go into settings and you'll see your profile, you'll see airplane mode, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. Like it's there and it's plain and simply there. But I mean, for the more geeky, like the geeky side of me, kind of wishes that there was, the connections section that you could just double tap on. So we'll flick to the right.
Sounds and vibration, sounds, vibration, do not disturb, 2 of 16.
So I could double
Double
tap on
tap
that.
to activate.
Just for fun, I want to see if there is a.
Notification,
Okay, so you
advanced
can do.
features.
No, you can't.
Navigate up button.
I was going
Double
to tell
tap
you.
to activate.
Oh my gosh, I was going to tell you that you can do a 2-finger tap to stop speech. That does not seem to be the case. I'm going to double tap out of here.
Settings. Notifications block, allow prior. Sounds and vibration,
Okay,
sounds,
here we go.
vibration, do not disturb, 2 of 16.
Okay,
Double tap to activate.
so I don't know if on the Google Pixel you are able just to single 2-finger tap, but that would be the multi-tap feature that Android currently doesn't have. But the sounds and vibration, they're a little bit interesting on the Android phones. If you guys will remember on the iPhone, just to do a little bit of a comparison, the iPhone, you can tell the phone when you turn up the volume, you don't want, basically you can turn the ability to turn up the sound with the volume buttons. You can turn that off. So if we double tap on here, the sounds and vibrations, let's double tap because I think that's important to see what we're dealing with. But what I've noticed is that the text to speech volume sometimes gets turned down, or the sounds volume sometimes gets turned down. In fact, that's one of the things that my grandmother, she'll call me, she'll say, Sean, I can't hear my sounds, or I didn't hear my text sounds. I'll say, all right, Grandma, have you tried turning up the volume of your phone? She said, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Because, you try to turn down the volume or you try to mute the phone or whatever. And on this phone, there's no mute switch like there is on the iPhone. So I really hope they don't take that away. That's just me personally. But on Android, like I said, there's not a mute switch. So you do have to turn the volume all the way down, or you have to go into the settings and go to Do Not Disturb. But let's double tap on here.
Sounds and vibration. Navigate up button. Double tap to activate.
So what does it mean by navigate up? Navigate up, think of it like a tree. That basically means back button. So this is actually pretty neat. So we'll flick to the right.
Sounds and vibration.
I think that's a heading.
Search button. Sound mode, sound 1 of 26, in list 26 items.
Okay.
Double tap to activate.
So, hold on.
Search, sound mode, sound 1 of 26, in list 26 items. Double tap to activate.
Okay, so you can double tap to choose your sound.
Vibrate while ringing, off, switch 2 of 26. Double tap to activate.
So you'll notice when it says sound, 1 of 26, that's a list. So I kind of like to think of it like, if you guys ever had a Windows mobile, or I'm sorry, I was correct. A Windows mobile phone, how you double tap on the sounds and it literally was a list like this that would display, that would say 1 of 26 or 2 of 26, or it would give you the sound name. That's kind of like what this does with Android. But let's flick to the right. So we have vibrate while ringing. That's off currently, but that's fine. This isn't used as a primary phone or anything. It doesn't even have a SIM card. Let's flick to the right.
Use volume keys for media. Control the media volume by default when you press the volume keys. Off, switch 4 of 26.
I do. Okay, good.
Double tap
good.
to activate.
So you do have that. Okay, so you do have the option to turn the media off. That is the music. You can choose not to control.
Vibration.
I need to hear that
Notification
again.
sounds. Verizon alert 10 of vibration pattern. Basic.
Hold on.
Ringtone. VZW air. Vibration intensity. 6. Volume 5 of 20. Use volume keys for media. Control the media volume by default when you press the volume keys. Off, switch 4 of 26.
So that is good.
Double tap to activate.
That they've added that in there because that, I believe that is what I did. Actually, now that I stopped
Use
thinking about
volume
it, to
keys
try
for
to
media.
help.
Control the
gosh.
media vibration
And I
intensity.
just tapped.
Navigate up button.
Okay.
Double tap to activate.
Trying to shut the speech off but it keeps double tapping as a 2-finger tap. Okay, anyway, I want to say that's what I did because the ringer on my grandmother's phone would get turned down so often that I was trying to assist when I said, all right, let's turn this switch off to assist with the ringing. The ringer problem, like I was telling you earlier, she would ask me, oh, how do I do this? How do I make my ringer start ringing again? So I think I did go in here and I turned that off. But like I said before, there's no mute switch, so she would turn the volume all the way down. So I sometimes will get calls asking about that. But I'm going to navigate up. Just going to do a tap toward the top.
Vibration intensity. Navigate up button.
I think
Double
to
tap
navigate
to
up, I think
activate.
it's down, so you drag down.
60%
left.
seat control. Use volume keys
There
to
we go.
adjust labels, seat control available. Use swipe up, vibrate while
Oh,
vibration pattern, bass,
okay.
ringtone, VZW airwaves, 8 of 26. Double tap to activate.
Here's the ringtones. Let me see if I accidentally got us back to.
Vibration intensity,
Okay.
6 of 26.
So you can control
Double tap to activate.
how the intensity of the vibration. Basically, whether it vibrates a lot or how strong the vibration is what I'm trying to say.
Volume, 5 of 26.
There's the volume.
Double tap
so if
to
we double tap
activate.
that.
Volume. Navigate up button.
So we have
Double
all
tap
kinds
to
of volume.
volume. More options button. Ringtone, 1 of 4, in list 4 items. Double tap to activate. 80% seat control. Use volume keys to adjust labels, seat control available. Use swipe up then right to view.
So what I like about the Android phones is that you can use the volume buttons. You don't have to use the up and right gesture, which frankly can be confusing, or maybe somebody with dexterity issues can't do it. Like, I know that sometimes I'm very thankful that I have that I'm ambidextrous. So if my left hand is having a bad day and I'm having a lot of tremors in my left hand, then I will use my iPhone, for example, with my right hand. But with those with dexterity issues, there are dexterity settings. I just think the iPhone has better dexterity settings. But like I said, like I was starting to say, what is cool is that you can adjust the seat controls with the volume. So if I hit the volume up, volume down, and it turns down. Except now I can't. Yeah, now it just keeps going. Let me try going back. There we go.
Sounds and vibration.
I did it down.
Volume, 5
Okay,
of 26, in list 26 items.
Okay. What I did
Double
was
tap to activate.
I slid my finger down and slid it to the left, and you have to do it really quickly. So let's flick to the right. So we saw the volume.
Vibration intensity, 6 of 26.
Okay, vibration
Double
intensity.
tap to activate. Ringtone, VZW airwaves, 8 of 26. Double tap to activate.
That was the ringtone that you heard.
Vibration pattern, basic call, 9 of 26. Double tap to activate.
Excuse me. So you can obviously choose the vibration like you can on the iPhone.
Notification sounds, Verizon alert, 10 of 26. Double tap to activate.
Essentially choosing the sound settings. This is quite long though. But let's
Do not
keep
disturb,
going down.
12 of 26. Double tap to activate.
I guess I kind of like on the iPhone that sounds are just sounds. You can choose the different sounds for each notification, but it's kind of, Android is what it is.
Off switch.
Okay, what is
Do
this?
not disturb,
Okay.
mute off switch. System heading, 13 of 26. Touch sounds, play sounds when you touch certain items on the screen, on switch, 14 of 26.
So system
Double tap
sounds
to
are on.
activate. Screen lock sounds, play sounds when you lock or unlock the screen, on switch, 15 of 26.
That's helpful.
Emergency tone, silent, 16 of 26. Charging sound, play a sound when a charger is connected, on switch, 17 of 26.
Okay, so this is going to be
Double
like
tap to
26
activate.
different items. So I'm basically different sounds. That's what I want to get across. So I'm gonna do a down, swipe down and swipe left.
Vibration
There we go.
settings. Sounds and vibration, sounds, vibration, do not disturb, 2 of 16, in list 16 items.
Okay, I
Double
kind
tap
of
to activate.
I forgot that this was a sound and vibration kind of list that you double tapped on. So that was my bad. So let's keep going.
Notifications, block, allow, prioritize, 3 of 16. Double tap to activate.
Notification settings, but the thing we're going to be skipping to is accessibility settings.
Display, brightness, wallpapers and themes, advanced features, device maintenance, battery, apps, default apps, lock screen and security, accounts, backup and restore, smart switch, 10 of 16. Double tap, Google settings, Accessibility, vision, hearing, dexterity and interaction 12 of 16.
Here we go. This is what we want.
Double tap to activate. Accessibility. Navigate up button. Double tap to activate.
You can either double tap to go back, or okay, it starts at 4 Eastern. The class. Anyway, let's flick to the right.
Accessibility. Search button. Help button.
There's help
Double
for
tap to
accessibility.
activate. Categories, heading, 1 of 20. Vision, 2 of 20. Double. Hearing, 3 of 20.
Vision, hearing.
Double. Dexterity and more settings, heading, 5 of 20.
So with Android, it's a little bit interesting, especially with the phone that I have. So the phone that I have has 2 screen readers. One that's built in, which is the Samsung screen reader. But the one that I have is TalkBack that I'm using right now, and that's what most people will be using. Well, I'll make an announcement about that in the end. Let me flick to the right.
Text to speech, 6 of 20.
There's text to speech.
Double tap to direction lock. Unlock the screen by swiping in a series of directions, 7 of 20.
I think that's if you have
double tap to
dexterity
activate.
Issues. So might be wondering why I'm not clicking on Vision. I'm looking for services, and that will be where I tap on TalkBack.
Direct accessibility shortcut TalkBack, 9 of 20.
So that's
double
that's
tap
important.
to activate.
So the accessibility shortcut is holding down 2 volumes, or the 2 volume buttons. So let me do that.
TalkBack off.
And it just said TalkBack off. Now I'm just going to hold down the 2 volume buttons, volume up, volume down.
TalkBack on. Accessibility.
And TalkBack is on. So let's flick to the right. I'm just going to show you the accessibility settings here, and then we'll tap on Vision.
Navigate up button. Accessibility shortcut. Notification reminder off, 10 of 20. Double tap to activate. Answering and ending calls, 11 of 20. Double tap to activate.
This is what I like. Okay, so answering and ending calls. So you can actually use
Settings.
Android's
Search edit
oh
box.
gosh. Wow.
Press select to edit text. Press
The
select and
screen
hold to long press.
very
Edit
touchy.
options available. Use swipe up then right to view.
Okay. Now that the Android phone stopped talking, the answering and ending calls is actually pretty neat, and it's something I've helped my grandparents set up. So what this is you go into answering and ending calls, and let's say you have trouble tapping the screen. There you can use the home button or the volume up button to answer or end a call, which is pretty neat. And you have to go and set that up. But it's neat that you get to tap on physical buttons to answer or end a call. And again, that's what I used, if that makes sense. Before I go any further, does anyone have any questions? I want to try to get everyone's questions answered as well, just instead of me just jawing. Or if there's something in particular you guys want to see, I was going to show you the TalkBack settings, but if there's something more that you guys want to see, feel free to ask questions. I'll open it up for questions.
Lock screen and security, always on display, fingerprints.
Okay.
About phone, status, system up.
Let me go.
About phone, status, about, help, general management,
Okay,
language
it's
and
really-
accessibility,
There
vision,
we go.
accessibility, search button, help button, category, vision, 2 of 20.
Okay, so we're going to double tap on
Double
Vision.
Vision. Navigate up. Vision. Voice assistant off, 1 of 15. Enlist 15 items.
Voice Assistant is
Double
Android's
tap
screen
to
reader.
activate.
I'm sorry, is Samsung's screen reader. That with Samsung's own screen reader, you can turn the speech off. Braille's not very good on Android here yet. It is improving. There's even a Braille screen input feature. However, if you're not familiar with UEB, That's going to trip you up because as of the last time I checked, which was recently, UEB was the only way to type using Braille screen input, unlike Apple. So let's flick to the right.
Voice Assistant Help disabled 2 of 15.
That's because I have it off.
Font and screen zoom. Change the font size, font style, and screen zoom 6 of 15.
So that is good. There's
Double tap to
visual
activate.
assistance there for low vision individuals.
High contrast fonts. Adjust the color and outline of fonts to make them stand out. Off switch 7 of 15.
And we'll
Double
flick
tap
to
to
the right.
activate. High contrast keyboard. Adjust the size of the Samsung keyboard and change its color to make the keys stand out from the background. 8 of 15.
These are some accessibility
Double
issues
tap
that-
to activate.
These are some, like the Samsung keyboard, for example. That's something Samsung's added their own accessibility in here, which is kind of neat. Some of the apps though are inaccessible. And the Samsung phones tend to be a lot more expensive. I mean, they would be my second choice if I were to get an Android phone.
Off switch. Show button shapes. Show buttons with outlines to make them stand out. Off switch 9 of 15.
I honestly wish that
Double tap to activate.
that Apple would be more descriptive of this, because I had no idea what show button shape meant, and so I do like the description of what these actions will do. You know, basically, I had no idea that there was buttons with lines or without lines, or the shapes had lines. In other words, so let's flick to the right.
Magnifier window. Magnify content shown on the screen. 10 of 15. Double tap to activate.
And there's
Off switch.
okay, that's off.
Double tap to toggle.
Okay, there's one thing about that. I wish that you didn't have to flick right to find that switch. I mean, I guess it's okay, but I guess I'd rather just double tap on the magnifier and just turn it on that way or turn it off that way. Kind of makes for extra flicking that I personally don't like. But let's flick to the right.
Magnification off 11 of 15. Large mouse touchpad pointer off switch. Negative colors off switch 30. Color adjustment. Adjust the screen color if you find it difficult to see some colors. 14 of 15. Color lens. Adjust the screen colors if you have difficulty reading text. 15 of 15. Navigate up button. Color lens. Adjust the
Alright,
screen
let's
colors
go
if you have difficulty reading text.
Back up.
Navigate up button. Accessibility. Notification. And accessibility settings. Backup. Import and services.
Oh,
Select to speak off 17 of 20. Talkback. Talkback on 16 of 20.
here we
Double
go.
tap to activate.
Talk back on. So we'll double tap here.
Talkback. Navigate up button. Double tap to activate. Talkback. Settings button.
So talkback
Double
is
tap
an
to
app
activate. Double
that you
tap
can-
and hold to long press.
Hold on. Okay. Talkback is an app that will come pre-installed on Android phones, hopefully. If not, you can load that as an app on the Play Store. You just,
When talkback is on,
Okay, hold
on switch. Settings button. Double tap. Talkback.
okay, so I'm definitely going to go through this screen.
Settings
the right.
button.
So
Double
there's
tap to activate. Double tap and hold to long press.
Talkback settings. Excuse me.
On switch.
That means
Double
talkback
tap to
is
toggle.
on.
When talkback is on, it provides spoken feedback so that you can use your device without looking at the screen. This
Flick
can be
to-
helpful for
oops.
people who are blind or have low vision. To navigate using talkback, swipe right or left to move between items. Double tap to activate an item. Drag 2 fingers to scroll. To turn off talkback, tap the switch. You'll see a green outline. Double tap the switch. On the confirmation message, tap OK. Then double tap OK.
So a nice little handy description there. So let's flick to the right. And that's it. Okay.
Navigate up button.
All right.
Talkback.
We'll go to settings.
Settings button. Double tap to activate. Double tap and hold to long press.
Double tap
Talkback
on
settings. Navigate up button. Double tap to activate.
We'll flick to the right.
Talkback settings. Vibration feedback off switch. Double tap to activate.
Let me explain what this is. So when you first turn on Talkback, every time you flick, the phone vibrates. And that can get rather annoying kind of quickly. Some individuals may wish to have this feature on. However, I dislike that, so I turned it off. The phone literally vibrates every time you flick. And it's not like the iPhone's vibration where it's just a little bit and just a little tiny vibration. It kind of, when you're holding the phone, especially when it's not in a case, it's just really, it vibrates a lot. So let's flick to the right.
Sound feedback on switch.
So the sounds
Double
that you're
tap
hearing,
to sound feedback
that
on
sound, you can
switch.
turn that off.
Double tap to activate.
And the rotor, I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's go through this setting really quick.
Sound feedback volume, match speech volume. Sound feedback volume. Checked match speech volume, 1 of 4, in list 4 items.
Let's flick to the
Double
right.
tap to toggle.
Oops.
75, checked match, 75% of speech volume, 2 of 4. Double tap to toggle.
So you can have it a little bit lower than the speech.
50% of speech volume, 3 of 4. Double tap.
Oops. Come on.
70, 50, 25% of speech volume, 4 of 4.
You can have the sound
Double
very
tap to
quiet.
toggle.
But I like to match the speech volume because I don't want to have to deal with separate talkback sound volume. So let's go back again. I'm gonna flick down and go to the left to go back.
25,
Whoops.
talkback
There we
settings.
go.
Sound feedback volume, match speech volume in list.
What
Double
I do
tap to
like
activate.
is that with an Android phone, at least this is what I've seen. And
Audio ducking.
oops, hold on.
Double tap to activate.
Okay. Well, what I do like is that at least with the two phones that I have had a chance to experience, TalkBack doesn't lose its focus like VoiceOver does. It seems like whenever you use that back gesture, flick down and left in a single motion, it seems to always remember, TalkBack does, where you were when you last left that screen, which is pretty cool. So let's flick to the right.
Braille keyboard. Double tap to activate.
Ah, Braille. Yes. So this is the Braille screen input that the folks at Google have put in. This phone that I have right now, it has kind of a cracked screen, so I'm not too keen on trying Braille screen input as of now. I want to get a phone that has its screen repaired. From what I've heard, it's a little bit harder to use, actually quite a lot harder to use than the iPhone Braille input. And we'll flip to the right, and that actually was provided, that feedback was provided by the co-host, who's not on here today, unfortunately, but we'll flick to the right.
Navigation. Single tap activation, experimental tap on currently focused item to activate off switch. Double
So,
tap to activate.
let me describe that. So, that is, as they say, experimental. If you drag your finger around and you want to hear, or I'm sorry, if you flick around, because I have tried this, and you come to an item that you want to select, you just single tap instead of double tap. Again, as they say, it's experimental, but it is here. And let's flick to the right again.
Show context menu as list on switch. Double tap to activate.
Okay, so I do have that on, and I like it as a list rather than what its default is. I have not played with that, to be honest, but it's actually nice. I rather like things as in a list, like if I'm working on my Mac or if I'm working on my PC, than in a grid. So it's kind of nice. So let's flick to the right.
Gestures. Double tap. Selector. Double tap to activate.
Okay, so gestures, you can customize gestures. Like the selector, you can custom, like you can on the iPhone. You can customize your gestures on the iPhone. The speech settings, you do have different voices. So I'm gonna flick to the right.
Keyboard, keyboard shortcuts. Double tap to activate.
This is all the gesture heading. So keep flicking to the right.
Custom, select. Audio ducking, decrease other audio volume while speaking off, switch.
Good.
Double
Yes.
tap to activate.
Audio ducking is great. I do not like it, so the option to turn it off is great, at least. And I have it off on my HomePod, my Apple TV, a lot of places actually. So that is nice that that is there. I'll flick to the right.
Braille keyboard. Navigation.
What the? Okay.
Custom labels.
Thing.
Double tap.
Let's flick to
Gestures. Select keyboard. Select keyboard shortcuts.
Oh my word.
Double tap to activate. Keyboard shortcuts.
Let me
Custom
scroll up.
export custom labels button.
Oh goodness.
Revert imported labels. Manage custom talkback settings. Custom labels. Miscellaneous. Open talkback at the Play Store.
Here we
Current
go.
talk. Miscellaneous. Custom label. Privacy policy. Help and talk. Developer. Open talk. Miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous.
Talk. Help and feedback. Privacy terms of service.
And we'll double tap on miscellaneous.
Help. Talk. Open talk. Miscellaneous.
Nope, I'm sorry. Miscellaneous was actually a heading. But text to speech is where you would
Open
go
talkback at the Play Store. Developer settings.
and adjust the settings.
Developer settings.
But
Double tap to activate.
there are different voices, like I've said, and the voices that you have will depend on the synthesizer that you have. And for most people, that will just be the Google synthesizer. And the text-to-speech is a little bit harder to find on Android phones, but I mean, the option to change the voice is a little bit harder to find. And I find that one thing that I do like about Android is that you can install different synthesizers. Like, for example, Eloquence or eSpeak. That is possible to do on an Android phone. So that's a plus going for Android. But I want to open it up for questions now and let you guys ask questions if you have any. If I went too fast over something, I can try to explain. Apologies ahead of time if I did. And then after that, I want to give you my final thoughts. I guess I want to summarize and wrap up and tell you what I recommend Android and who I recommend it to. And then I want to share an important announcement. So I'm going to open it for questions now. Does anybody have any questions? And if you need me to explain anything again, like I said, I will. Apologies if I went too fast. So I'm ready to hear your questions. Okay. If you want to unmute, that's fine. Okay. It doesn't seem like you guys have any questions. Is there anyone still in the room? I guess that's what I want to know. Let me see.
Okay, well, I am still here.
Okay. Well, good.
And Sean, I do want to just mention something. I don't know if you could do this on your phone, but if you got Google set up, you could ask Google to turn on and off TalkBack.
You can do that. Yes. Yep. You can definitely do that. My voice assistant, it's a little bit slow on this phone, so it's kind of hard to I mean, you can activate it. It's just a little bit interesting as to knowing whether you have activated it or not. But yes, that can be done.
Okay.
I don't. I
Yeah.
don't know if I don't know if I've tried turn on talkback. I think I have, and I think what happens is it opens up the accessibility settings, or it turns it on, then it opens up the accessibility settings. I believe that's what
Okay.
happens.
So I got another question. Maybe you had this experience, and you might even mention it, but someone asked me a question about a company we're about to receive shortly. So I might, just in case I missed it. Okay. So I just got a Samsung tablet, and I
Mm-hmm.
haven't had much time to play with it. I got it set up and have gone no further with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm understanding also you could use your power buttons to turn it off. No, your volume buttons to turn on and off talk back.
That
So
is
do you know anything?
correct.
Okay.
Yes, yes. I demonstrated that, and that is really cool. I wish Apple would do that.
Selector, in list.
Oops, shut up. Ah. One thing I will say, this screen's very touchy. It might
Mm-hmm.
just be this phone, but if I, you're absolutely right. So if I press the up and down volume buttons, turns off talkback. There we
Okay.
go.
There it
Talkback's
is.
off,
Okay, you did. I did hear that sound. Okay, it's
and
probably
then
when I was being distracted.
turns
Okay.
back on.
Talkback on.
There we go.
Talkback
Okay.
settings.
One thing
Thanks for that
that
demo,
I,
sir.
Talkback
Appreciate
oh,
it.
set.
no problem. Have you actually? I'm curious. Have you noticed any type of screen curtain? Because there's no screen curtain that I know of
I
as far as
have
talkback.
not, but I got a really interesting situation with mine. Mine came with a keyboard,
Huh.
and so I went looking for accessibility with the keyboard and can't find anything anywhere. Now, I have been able to use my arrow keys to get around. I have been using it to type information in edit fields,
Mm-hmm.
but insofar as using the arrow keys to get around, it does not work all the time. So it
I
seems to be so there's something going on with that I need to learn more about.
Yeah. There's so in the gestures. I think you can assign gestures to the keyboard because I was flicking and I heard gestures and then it was saying, okay, this is the double tap. Um, does X or Y. Like the customizable gestures on the iPhone and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I thought I heard a keyboard. I really thought I heard a keyboard
Would that
in
be
there.
for the onboard keyboard or the external
I
keyboard?
want to say an external keyboard.
Okay.
Yeah, so that might be where you might want to go. Um, but have you used Braille screen input yourself
Not
on
on
Android?
not on my my tablet. No. In
Yeah,
fact, not
that's
on Android at all.
available. But like I've said, the co-host who is not here due to school, she said that the Braille screen input, um, while it is usable, it does take a couple minutes to get used to. And I've not tried it due to the fact that this phone, like I said, it was handed down to me from my sister-in-law.
Developer settings.
Oh gosh,
Display
sorry.
speech output off
There
switch
is
in list.
no way to stop
Double
this
tap to
speech other than
activate.
locking the phone. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, wait, hold on.
Log out.
Oh
But
gosh.
I find that even with
Volume controls hidden.
braille screen input on
Screen
the
off.
iPhone,
Mm-hmm.
it's still a learning curve there. Particularly for first time users. I
Right.
mean, you do have to get used to that, and it does take a few minutes to get used to. Some people they'll try it once or twice and say, "Okay, I give up," and I have to really kind of push them. No, don't give up. I mean, just because you tried it once or twice doesn't mean it's you spend about maybe 2 minutes on it. So you kind of push yourself, and you'd be surprised at how much fun it actually becomes after a while.
Oh yeah, no. I definitely use Braille screen input. The reason being on this one is because that I don't use it on this one is
Mm-hmm.
because well, one, I do know UEB thanks to Computer Braille, or at least I should hope I know a little bit about it. I mean, but this screen's cracked, so it's like it's not to
Ouch.
where it's gonna hurt my fingers, but I don't want to take the chance.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, this is interesting. But yeah, I mean, I think it, um, so how long have you had that Samsung tablet then?
Um. Actually, I bought it last month, but I've been so busy I haven't had a lot of time to spend with it. I went and even bought an Android tutorial from Mystic Access.
Mm-hmm.
They mainly focus on the phone, which I still should get a lot out of it. I have a big tablet. You know, it's what is it, like 8 or 10 inches? I forget what it is, but it's big. So um, it is a Samsung Tab 8, and
Okay.
it is running Android 10.
Okay.
So I have, in fact, I haven't turned it on for like the last 2 weeks. So I keep saying I've got to get to it this week and start monkeying with it again, so I could really learn it. Because sometimes I get questions about Android on my job, and I have to try to be able to answer them.
Right, right. And you know, one thing that, this kind of leads to what I was going to say in the uh in the wrap up, but uh one thing that, you know, I think that people need to understand is that iPhone and Android are different. While they have different gestures, or while they have maybe some of the same gestures, like double tap with one finger, um, for example, to go to the notifications, I believe it's flick up, then flick right in a single motion.
Yeah.
And the rotor, which I should have talked about, sorry about that, guys. What you do, for those who don't know, is you swipe up and swipe down with one finger, and you can't. It's not like swipe up. Okay, I can take my finger off. No, no, you can't. You swipe up, then you swipe down. So it's like it can be a little bit tricky. Um, but I have done it. I just did one of the gestures, and I've it's definitely doable.
And, yeah, that one I actually found easier. I said, oh, I like this better than iPhone.
Yeah.
Gesture, the gesture and rotor. I actually really did like it, but you know,
No, I don't
it's
blame you. It's simple. Very it's very doable. And if any of you guys have a Fire tablet, that it also applies. That is swipe up, swipe down gesture as well.
now the other thing I found about Android takes a lot of getting used to the angle gestures.
Yes, yes.
That's a
Swipe
little
up
bit
then
of you.
right, swipe down then
Yeah,
left. Yep, yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
that one's
it's definitely a learning curve, but like you said, and I definitely concur. I definitely agree. You just need to practice with it. I mean, so back to what I was saying. Is it accessible? Absolutely. Is it
so.
to where I
Mhm.
would switch?
Hold on a
No.
second. Okay, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
Okay, so earlier, now your phone has a home button.
Mm-hmm.
So you're able to use the home button to to hold it uh and get the voice assistant and ask you to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you have a Android phone that doesn't have a physical home button, but usually the home button itself is using at the bottom. If you're able to locate that button and double tap and long press, can you do the same thing? Because I have not tried that yet.
Um, I can't do it on on this one, but I did have a Google Nexus 7 tablet, so I know
Hmm.
what you're talking about. My Google Nexus 7 tablet did not have a home button on it. So what I would do is I would go on the bottom and I would drag my finger until I heard home, because it used to be on Android you would
Hmm.
have to turn on the double tap feature to be able to flick and then double tap on what you wanted. Because you used to, when you turned on TalkBack, back in the days of KitKat or even lower than that, you'd need to drag your finger around and then you'd lift it up as soon as you heard what you wanted. Thankfully, that's no longer the case, and you don't have to turn that on because you literally had to turn on the flicking feature or the double tap feature. It was really annoying, but
Okay.
anyway, that's kind of like how I got the concept of dragging, because I needed to drag my finger to try to find the home button, which wasn't there. Um, and I think I have double tapped and held. Um, I Okay, I don't remember too much about it, but I believe I've used my brother's Android tablet. I think it does work.
Okay.
Um, I would think of it kind of like, well, the fighters, they don't have a home button, but they have a gesture for the A lady. I think it's a two
Gotcha.
finger tap and hold. Um, so I'm not. I guess I can't really speak to that because I've not. Like you mentioned, there's a physical home button on this, so I don't know how that would work. I do know on the Pixels, however, if you want to get the voice assistant, you literally squeeze the sides of the phone, and it will bring up the voice assistant.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, I'm thinking that that's really cool, and I think that, and you can tell me what your thoughts are, but uh, the the Google Pixel or the Google tablets in general, they're what's called stock Android, and I think those
Mm-hmm.
are the most accessible versions just of Android. That's the most accessible version of it because that was, all the apps were created by Google.
Yes.
Um, Whereas like Samsung, I think
Samsung is supposed to be stock Android as well. It's supposed to be.
is it okay?
Yeah, it's
I That's
supposed to be.
something I
Yeah,
didn't know.
that's what I read in a book about maybe 2 years ago. So
Okay,
so yeah, Samsung, but there are some that are not stock Android. And you're right. You should anyone who is really interested in having something accessible certainly should look for a stock Android device, whether it be a phone or a tablet. If you're gonna have, that's just gonna work better,
exactly,
and
absolutely.
you get more updates.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The thing about Samsung that kind of throws me off a little bit, um, while we're on that subject of updates, is that Samsung they tend to be a little bit slow on the updates, whereas Google
Mm-hmm.
they just pop them out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that I would kind of think about. I mean, I guess it's really how fast you want your updates.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But let me see how many participants are still in here. Let me just pause the recording real quick.
So,
Okay. Well, actually, before you go,
uh-huh.
stop the recording early. Let me just make this announcement. So, on the 15th, um, and then after this, I will stop the recording, and we can, and those of us who are left can talk. On the 15th, an individual by the name of Shane Lowell, who will come and speak with us about the app Super Sense, and he'll tell us all about the app. I'll probably be demonstrating unless he wants to demonstrate the app features. But then after that, I'm going to I I'm gonna need to know if you guys are okay with either donations or if you guys want to cut this down to once a month. Because I'm gonna be starting to be busy, and I've there's one more thing I can think of to demonstrate as far as technology, but I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that. To cutting it down once a month, because I promised you guys free training. I want to keep that promise, but I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that.
Okay. Um, that sounds cool. So if we think of some topics that you might want to cover, I mean, you might be interested in covering, can we do that? And then you're talking about maybe taking donations to help keep it going. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. That's an idea. That's definitely something I've been wrestling with. It's like, I don't want to, I don't know what the right term is. Like, I don't want to make you guys, have you guys leave just because. Oh no, he asked for donations after it was free. I don't want to be that kind of person. So it's like, I just I was trying to figure out how to best approach that. So I'm actually going to be busy with some stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
just became part of a chapter, so I'm sorry, a student division. So I'm gonna be busy with that. So I'm gonna say maybe once a month that we do this. We keep it free, and we do this Sunday, like the first Sunday of every month after the 15th.
And that's fine with me. So, and I do have one other question before I go.
Sure.
Are you willing to take recommendations for some topics?
I can, yeah, just some things I just don't know much about, and so I wouldn't be able
Okay,
to speak. I wouldn't be able to speak to,
gotcha.
but
Okay,
yeah, yep.
Well, that's that the technology stuff moves so fast that you may have known something in the past, but it's changed so much you don't know it anymore. So, or sometimes you get
Right.
so much to experience, you just can't experience it all.
Right, right. It's like, well, why don't you do something on the Brownlow Touch? It's like, I'm sorry, I don't have a Brownlow Touch to do something
Yeah,
on. Right,
absolutely.
right.
Um, yeah, because you can't own every Braille display out there. You have to be really super rich.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, you have to have a lot of money to own every Braille display out there. Okay, so I then what I'm gonna do when we get together next week, I'll let you know how the home button worked on the Android in terms of whether I could, because it is a virtual, it is a on screen. It doesn't have a physical home button, but it is like all the other things you could find it, and I'm going to try to use it to see if I can activate the Google Assistant and see if I can do things with it.
Okay,
And I'll let you know if it works.
awesome.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. And I got to sign out. Okay. See you guys next week.
Thank you. See ya. Thank you guys for coming. I'm going to stop the recording unless anyone else has any questions. Okay. Well, thank you guys very much for coming. I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the 15th. Where we will get to talk about Super Sense. I'm really excited about this. Shane Lowell, the Super Sense team, they've been very wonderful to talk to. Shane has definitely been wonderful to talk to, and tell your friends about this, okay? Because Super Sense is a great app. I really, really, really like it. I've been using
Oh,
it.
let me tell you, I just bought the lifetime subscription because I swear by the OCR.
The
The
OCR
OCR
is
is great.
really cool. Yes.
Because it actually just verbally guides you, to how to aim the phone right, so it's lined up and away it goes, and it's real accurate. Yeah, the
Absolutely.
OCR is super in super sense.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. We'll talk more about that next week. But again, thank you guys very much
All
for
right.
coming. And before I stop the recording, do you guys have any other questions about anything that was discussed? Okay. Well, again, thank you guys very much for coming, and I really do appreciate it.
All right. See you later, Sean.
See ya.